And we are live. Excellent. So, like we just briefly mentioned, the ethics of dating. I met this wise Chinese man, and he was telling me maybe teaching dating isn't too ethical because you're helping a guy uh, learn a skill to go out and get a girl. And going out to get a girl is just like going out to get a girl to use her for your advantage, use her for your pleasure. It might be sex, it might be kissing, it might be even just going out to be with her, but it's still you're using this person for your pleasure instead of just meeting her naturally without thinking about it. And that's um, what else? You can't pick. Maybe it's not great to go out and pick and choose a person like you would pick and choose a product on Amazon, because he also said Alibaba because it's relevant to him. But because a person is an object, they're a human being, and it made a lot of sense. It kind of threw me off. I was like, okay, this is I believe this to be okay and whatever. But when he put it in that perspective, I was like, oh shit, do I just stop? Like, what do I do? Do I stop my career and end it and call it a day, or what? So a lot of his points were coming from the perspective of you have to love yourself before you love someone else, and this is supposed to be natural. This is supposed to be, you just don't really think about it. But if you do like someone, if you do have someone in mind that you do want to approach, courage and honesty is the only thing a friend can give another friend to help with that. The courage to go up and talk to her, and the honesty of his intentions. And so he admired the way I did it with my girlfriend. So I just came back from Brazil. I met this beautiful girl in the park, and I just started talking and whatever. And on our second date, I mentioned what I do, what I love. I came back from Brazil, told her the stories and whatever. And she was coming from the perspective of, oh, this is pretty interesting. My brother is kind of similar. He does similar things, but not exactly the same way. But we were still kind of getting to know each other, so it wasn't like too big a deal. And so he liked that I was honest with her with what I did in my past, like that I learned techniques and strategies and whatever to be better with girls.
Yeah.
But actually, at that time, I was actually practicing self-love and throwing out all techniques, all strategies, just to be as honest as possible. And so that's what I practiced. And I mean, it worked out. We're going to Portugal next week, and we're together 11 months. So next month, 1 year. So
Sweet.
it's going to be an anniversary, her birthday and our anniversary. But yeah, so he made good points, and I was like, oh shit, like it makes sense. Am I wrong? Am I doing a disservice to these people? So another reason why you wouldn't teach is because a lot of these guys would be filling a hole in their heart with these girls, and they think it might work, but it will never be enough. You'll never get enough of the external. So you have to solve it inside yourself. And the way you could do it is by either working on yourself or being around friends and family who can help you solve that hole in your heart. And then you can go out from that perspective and from that point, and then maybe if you're interested in someone, learn to get some courage and be more honest. And that made complete sense. And
Yeah.
so I mean that's basically it.
I mean, I would agree to some extent, but would disagree uh, of generalizing this rule, because we briefly talked about it. It depends what you teach, actually. If your goal to teach a guy is to teach them how to just get laid the most and how to have sex with most girls, then uh, and breaking somebody's heart, you know what I mean? Uh, then yeah, it could be considered as unethical, but it all depends, because if you teach people how to be more open, how to be more um, socially agile, agile, how that's how you say it.
Yeah, that's right.
Socially, to know how to talk to people, how to have a interesting conversation and all that stuff, because in the end, I believe this is what helped me most with, in general, having in social interactions, is that learning how to listen to people, how to talk, how to have an interesting conversations. Because if you don't know how to talk with someone, uh, with a stranger, because usually when you're with friends, there is absolutely no problem. But if you make someone learn how to have a comfortable conversation with random people, then I think it's absolutely a good idea. And yeah, I wouldn't call it unethical in any sort of way. And even if you have some people teach how to get laid and all that stuff, like there are girls that want the same thing, so it all depends of who you teach, how what you teach, and how this person uses it. So as long as what you teach you don't believe to be unethical, then I wouldn't call it unethical.
Right. Because it does require two people to have this interaction. She could say no at any moment. So,
Yeah, kind of, but also like, I have to agree with that guy, that if, for example, you teach how to manipulate a girl to wanting to sleep with you, and then you just disappoint her and she's kind of heartbroken, this is fucked up. But there are a lot of girls that just want to have one night stands and all that stuff, and if people want to learn that to have one night stands with these kind of girls, then I mean, do what you want. I found in the past that it's not really giving much happiness, this kind of lifestyle. But I believe that if someone wants to try it, why not? But as long as somebody doesn't teach how to manipulate someone to having something which they will be disappointed in, then I don't see it a problem.
I remember Cohen said, Valentino Cohen was our teacher. He said the difference between manipulation and influence was intent. Like a robber might take a knife and stab you in the stomach while taking your possessions, or a surgeon might take a knife and carefully make incisions in your stomach to remove a tumor or whatever. Same action, different intent. Obviously, it's an exaggeration, but
Yeah,
it kind of makes sense. And yeah, I'm more focused on helping guys find long term relationships, because I mean that's what I'm in right now, in 11 months, and um, I kind of grew into that mindset after Brazil. I wanted something more. I couldn't put a finger on it. I didn't know exactly what it was,
yeah,
and like I was I was just reaching to something that I felt much better than what I had, and what it was a long term relationship. And especially around that time, I was listening to people like Jordan Peterson, Brett Weinstein, and maybe someone else, who were talking about the benefits of a long term committed relationship, monogamy,
yeah.
and what they were saying made complete sense. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'd like to have that. I'd like to have a long term partner that I can just share all my life with and, and enjoy moments together. And I was like, yeah, I'd love that too. And also from a laziness perspective, like dating is so much effort. It's like so
It's
much
definitely,
effort finding all these girls and whatever. Like it's ridiculous. So much money, so much effort. Why not just find one and settle down? So even from a laziness perspective, it's great. So um, yeah, I kind of threw out the manual. In Brazil, I already was throwing out the manual of the techniques and whatever. Like in the guys that I was working for, they had this. I like this idea that they were improving themselves. It was authenticity, but from a better perspective of improving themselves. They would go out to the gym. They have multiple businesses. They have social networks. They're socializing with friends, guys and girls, and they're also meeting girls that they're attracted to. And they would say that they're attracted to them when they see them. And the way they went at it, the way they dealt with social anxiety is through social momentum, going up and talking to people that they don't know, and being okay with that, feeling okay with that. And I think Fluid Social, real name Sam, his motto was monkey see, monkey do. So because your brain is so good at like, oh, don't do it, you're gonna
yeah.
get rejected, it's gonna be terrible, whatever. But monkey see, monkey do, you go up and talk to them, and see what happens. So I like that perspective. So I kind of threw out the Oh, indirect self-amuse with intent. Statement of empathy. The 7 steps of day game that we got from Valentino Cohen, and I was just meeting people. Sure, maybe it wasn't great to meet everyone on the beaches and the streets. Sure, maybe that wasn't the best way to go about it. I think I like Valentino Cohen's method, and I think he must have got it from someone else, maybe from Tony Robbins or something. Because a lot of Tony Robbins stuff I heard Cohen implemented and gave us. So I don't know if his name is Cohen, but it's
No,
probably
it's
something random. Yeah. He always changes his name whenever he changes his career. So, but I
yeah,
like I like when he said, go to the places where you're most likely going to meet that type of person that you find most interesting and attractive. So
yeah. That was a good advice, actually.
yeah, I know definitely for a fact that Tony advise people to make a list of everything you find attractive in a person, physically and personality wise, and then what would they want in you. And I just watched a video from Peterson actually recently saying a lot of people asked him, how do I find my dream partner? But then no one would ask the second question of how do I become the dream partner for them? So
Yeah,
if you ask the second question first, people will be lining up to see you. And so I like that we
yeah,
got that advice and we became that dream partner for a lot of people. And then we were going to the places where we're most likely going to meet that type of person and connecting with these types of people. So I think I love that advice.
I saw that video. That I showed a very short clip of that video of Peterson saying that thing that we always ask, like, is this the partner for me? But we never ask, like, how am I the best partner I can be? And then
Yeah,
he said, like, if you are the best partner you can be, then there's going to be a whole queue waiting to be your partner. And I found
that's
that,
exactly the video.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I found
So
that
good.
very, very interesting. And I believe it's really true because I remember when I was focused on dating in the pickup kind of sense, which I believe is pretty negative. I was meeting some girls, but it wasn't like very much fun. But as soon as I just focused on other stuff in life, having more interesting uh, activities, then it just like you just see how women are attracted to you just because you've got something interesting about yourself and you don't really care much. So a lot of these techniques that we learn, because they're all techniques from these pickup guys, is just like pretending to be the person that you can become, not trying those techniques, but but having a interesting life, simply
Yeah,
put.
it's like it's the symptom of like fuck. They're using the symptoms of what attractive people have because
Yes.
they are that person. It's like maybe some intelligent people might have beautiful handwriting, but making your handwriting beautiful doesn't make you intelligent or
Yeah.
dress a certain way.
Yeah.
So it's like deciding between the tail wags the dog or the dog wags the tail. So yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I saw. Oh, carry on.
No,
Do you have a
I
point?
completely agree with you.
Right. I was also thinking about there's a lot of dating coaches. So and not and sure they have some fundamental similarities between them, but their personalities vary. Todd is analytical.
Yeah.
Cohen is kind of analytical but emotional. Um, whereas the guys, fuck, I haven't watched a lot of them. I can't say anything, but like um, they, I felt like were maximizing their personality and showing their best side. So like a guy would watch their videos and be like, "Oh, these guys are getting results. I should be doing what they are doing." But that's not their personality, so they're adopting someone else's personality and advice that mismatches theirs. So no matter how hard they try, they'll be failing. And if they do succeed, they also feel shit because they had to be
Yeah.
someone else
Yeah.
to get results. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's very true. It's very true.
yeah,
Uh, yeah. It's a problem because you go on YouTube wanting to meet someone, then you land on some of these dating coaches, which are just pickup artists, if I can call them this way, and they sell you this vision, which you believe is what you wanted in the beginning. Um, it's like it would be nice to have a girl, and then they sell you like, actually, you want to have as many girls as you can have, and you're like, yeah, that is what I want. And it's absolutely not what you wanted in the beginning. And then they teach you techniques. And in the end, you're like 3 years learning those techniques, how to pick up most girls that you can and all that stuff. And you feel miserable. And then you're like, wait, how did I end up here? Like, I just wanted to meet a nice partner and have a long term relationship. And then you go back to it and you're like, oh, actually, I just had to put my shit together and be real and have an interesting life. And that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe not
It's
that's
so
it, but
well,
it
yeah,
seems,
maybe there's like also go out there.
yeah,
But then again, like if your hobby is like rock climbing or camping or hiking, like there's groups and you would be meeting people in those groups who have the same values, same hobbies as you. So like
yeah,
there we go. You just eliminated a lot of people that wouldn't suit you, that maybe you're not into partying, and these guys are not too. So they're more into isolated type of life. Perfect. So
yeah.
similar values, similar interests. Yeah, so I'm more focused on long-term dating. I'm more focused on how would you have the type of relationship that could last a long time and could serve both of you well. So I
I
think
think that
I'm trying to figure out the perfect relationship, and also learning from my relationship how why is it actually staying afloat? Why is it actually working? And so that's why I'm trying to implement.
mm, I think teaching how to have a long-term relationship and a happy relationship is probably the best dating advice someone can get, I believe.
True. It has to go through the first step though. It has to go through the most scary step that any man can have, of going up to an attractive woman and saying hello. Like there's no going around it. You have to do it. Um, I've only been approached by a girl
Mm,
once, and that was because she saw me in a hostel that I was living in, and she lived there too, but she didn't come up to me that time, and then she felt guilty. So the next time that she saw me, she was like, "Oh, are you that guy in that hostel?" I was like, "Yeah," and because I used to wear these ridiculous, colorful socks like up to my knees. I don't know why, but I was 17 and wild, and so she recognized me by my socks, and then we went to multiple museums and whatever. Had a lovely time. It wasn't a date; it was just a
yeah,
person who saw me, and we had a good time together. And
yeah,
so yeah, I think it's the guy's job to go up, get the confidence and go up to talk to that person that
yeah.
they find
It's funny
attractive.
because even girls that say, "Oh, I'm so attracted to this guy," and and you tell them, "Then go talk to him." No, no, no. He has to come to talk to me, and you're like, "It's so
Yeah.
retarded," but at the same time.
Yeah. It has to be done. There's no other way.
But you know what's funny? I remember once. Uh, I have a friend in Spain, and he was my best friend in during my Erasmus uh, in Spain, in Valencia, and he is this guy that everyone likes. Like he's super fun to be around. He's so super positive. He talks to people. I met him in the gym, and he's helping people out in the gym and all that stuff. Like a great guy. And he would have a lot of attention of women, and
Mm.
he told me like, man, I really wish, it's been like 2 years since I had a relationship, and I really have a tough time attracting girls. I'm like, man, you're attracting like a shitload of women in the gym. And I, no way. And when we were out together, I was just telling him when I was seeing like a girl checking him out when we were walking in the street or in the gym. I was like, "Oh, you saw that girl? She was checking you out." And like that, every 5 or 10 minutes, I would be like,
Mm.
"Oh, she was checking you out. She was checking you out. She was checking you out." And
Yeah.
after like a month, he learned, He was like, "Holy fuck! I never saw it." It's not that
Yeah.
he was missing something. He was just missing the ability to see that girls are attracted to him. And of course, very very short time afterwards, he has found a girlfriend, and he was like, "Man, thank you." I'm like, "Man, you just had to open your eyes." It was really funny because he literally had everything apart of the fact of seeing that he was super attractive.
Yeah. Damn. Like I remember actually before this conversation, we talked about social anxiety, and that there might be guys who, like, even if they go to an event with a lot of people, they still need to learn how to deal with their social anxiety to be able to talk to a person that they find attractive.
Yeah,
Or in that guy's case, it wasn't social anxiety at all. He didn't even know that people were attracted to him.
yeah.
So having help with that, obviously, well done, you. You saved him. Uh,
Mm,
yeah.
I
So
think figure it out sooner or later.
he might have. He might have. Could have taken time though. Um, what was it? Yeah, my sister, like, there's CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's quite uh logical, systematic. It's like the advice that you can implement then and there. I think that's how the therapy is like that. It's if you struggle with something, what are the steps that you can do to make sure that that doesn't happen or whatever. And I feel like I need to learn more about uh, social anxiety, because the only real advice, well, it works for me, uh, was dealing with social anxiety. You just have to talk to people and build that social momentum, uh, and not even just to beautiful girls, to anyone. And you feel more comfortable talking to people that you don't know in public, and eventually it's you have that momentum. Oh, this is normal. This is okay. I can do this. And eventually, you do have to talk to that person that you find attractive. So you still have to do it, but now it's a much easier. But I feel like there must be some more studies done on social anxiety that I just haven't heard of. That's not what I looked into deeply, but my sister was like, it probably should be something that you should focus on, because it's the biggest problem most people have. That, like, back in the day, everyone used to be social. Now everyone's locked down on their phones, not
Yeah,
knowing how to communicate in person. So
true.
there's definitely a market for it. So if
Yeah,
if I put it through that perspective, and perspective of helping with social anxiety and finding your long-term relationship, that'll be a good perspective to bring it through.
yeah, definitely.
So
I do believe
yeah.
so.
So
Yeah, because
oh, carry on.
just from my experience, because I used to be super shy, and then I learned to talk to people. And when I'm in an environment that I know, or not even, uh, I like to talk to people, like even random people, like have a conversation in a shop. If I'm in the gym, I talk to at least 10 people in there, because
Really?
yeah, because we've got a group of friends in the gym.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I usually go at the same time, but it's like you talk to one person, and then you talk to another one, and then you're like, "Oh, can I have this?" And then you have another conversation, and I just feel comfortable in those places. And it's funny because when people tell me like, "You're talking to everyone," and I don't feel comfortable talking to someone in the gym, and if you help someone to just have you catch up, to chat up with anyone in an environment, it's a lot of benefits, because first of all, you've got social interactions with which people enjoy. I mean, a lot of people. And second of all, it's by having social interactions with everyone that sooner or later you're going to find a girl that's interesting and that you enjoy. I mean, that's how it happened with me, actually,
Yeah.
because talking with people at the gym and having friends, and then you meet that person, you're like, interesting.
Yeah. And being normal, like, it's not
Yeah.
only talking but also being normal. Because now, talking about that sparked a memory. In Lille. I live in the north of France. There's like
Mhm.
two parks, and everyone's outside. I'm gonna mute my messenger. Sorry. My friend's texting me, And so, oh, is there a comment? Oh, yes. Someone commented hi. Not too sure who that is. So in Leeds, there's two parks. There are two parks, and everyone's outside in those parks. And there's one guy who consistently goes up to all groups, all everyone, and like the first time I saw him, he asked if I was playing cards with my friends, having a few drinks and a few laughs, and he was like, "Oh, can I join?" And we already finished all the games and we're like kind of done. So I was like, "Nah, like I'm not really into playing cards anymore," and so he walked off. And then the next time I saw him when I was in the same park, he didn't come to me, but he went to multiple groups and he went to my girlfriend. I didn't see this, but he asked if he can smell her feet. So he was talking to people. He talked to a lot of people, but he did it the wrong way. Maybe the first way could have been a good way, but then asking
Yeah,
to smell girls' feet. How successful do you think that guy was? So yeah. Not
yeah. I
only
mean,
that, it was just
you've got a whole
awkward.
spectrum of talking to everyone because
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that I'm talking to everyone, but actually, I talk to people in environments that I know, like the gym or a
Mm.
university or whatever, a restaurant that I go very often to. Then I talk to people because I know them. But a part of that, I'm not chatting everyone on the street. But I remember I once met a guy. He was very much RSD kind of stuff,
Yeah, that's my
and
friend Alex.
oh, sweet. And I met him in a vegan restaurant, and as we were both vegan, that's why that's how we got to know each other. And then I saw him in the city center. He was literally stopping every single girl, trying to get as quick as possible with that girl, like trying to get a kiss in like 15 seconds, if 15 seconds, and he was getting rejected like all the time. And I was like, how can you even believe that this works? Like stopping literally every girl on the street and then trying to kiss that girl in 10 seconds. It was ridiculous. And I
Yeah,
think this is very extreme of the spectrum of talking to everyone. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. That's probably the most extreme. Um, fuck. Yeah. I mean, from that perspective, definitely using the girl, definitely using the
Yeah,
girl for the
100%.
yeah.
That's not very healthy, not very ethical, I'd say.
Even if you exaggerate that point, if you do get to use as many people as possible, I think Cohen mentioned something like this that you don't get satisfied because everything is predictable. You want that unpredictability, that everything is the way you want it, then it's boring. So even if you get everything that you want, you'll be bored anyway. So you don't really want to use girls, even if it's for selfish reasons, that it's
Yeah.
still not going to even feel good. So going from the negative perspective, it's still not, still doesn't give you what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I found funny is that he was teaching it and he did it so many times that he didn't even find uh, pleasure in it anymore. He was because he literally said that he approached probably 10,000 girls and
Fuck.
knows literally every possible scenario of a conversation because it's super predictable. And
Yeah.
when something is new, that's when it's exciting, but it's super rare. And what's the point of going to such a point that you get bored by just talking to people instead of just having a relationship with one person that you can kind of discover yourselves continuously?
That's a that's an interesting point. I like when you know all the possible conversations, you're not having a conversation anymore. You're
Yeah, it's like a
what's
scenario.
happening there? Yeah.
It's it's funny because I realize that very often conversation, like basic conversations, are structured the same way. When I was on my Erasmus, 80% of the conversation like, oh, what's your name, where are you from, oh, which city, what do you study, and then it's like these basic checklists of questions which were always the same.
Yeah.
And I do understand how he was feeling, like every conversation is predictable because you're like, as soon as you hear the first question, "What's your name?" then you know that it's going to be followed by "Where are you from? What do you study? Which
Yeah,
university?" and all that stuff. And you
yeah,
know it's going to be boring from the very start. So, but to come to such a point that every conversation sounds the same. Maybe he sounds the same because he always has his technique that he uses. So maybe it is predictable because he does it in a predictable way.
yeah. He
Mm.
diverts it, maybe like moves it in the direction of where he wants, so it's always the same. But like
Yeah,
I
maybe.
have this weird feel. I don't understand what that is. That it's like, what is it exactly that's happening? You're not having the conversation with the person anymore. It's you said scenario, so
How do you call it when you write something for a movie? Is that called a
it's script.
scenario?
It's a
A script.
script.
Yeah, a script. Sorry.
Yeah. So I guess he's following a script and seeing if it's gonna lead to sex.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Isn't
It,
sales kind of similar?
yeah, I do
isn't
believe so.
isn't
It's
sales
like
like,
gliding
okay,
the conversation to where you know how to. It's like always driving the same road. Like I know this road, so I'm going to take this one, even though you
mm,
have hundreds of different ways to go home,
right,
for example.
right,
I think you just go there because you're used to it and because you're comfortable with it, and
right.
you know how it ends. Because maybe you
Yeah.
just end up in a cul-de-sac and you're fucked.
I know like Peterson was trying to sell one of his products, and even though his product was helping businesses hire the best possible employees for their business. And so
Mhm.
he knew his product was better than everyone else's and more efficient, more effective. But like marketing was such a hassle, and that he couldn't say anything bad about sales because it's an art of itself, and that if you, it's like really difficult to sell. So
Mm.
putting it down is not great because if especially for artists, and many universities don't teach sales, many artistic universities, artistic endeavors don't teach sales. That hinders, it just ruins the possibilities of the artists chances to make this a living. And so many of those artists have to have a side business, be a waiter or whatever, a
Yeah, yeah,
waitress.
yeah.
So sales is definitely important, and it's definitely like it's obvious why people would look down upon it, but it's also useful. It gets it. So I'm trying to figure out what's an ethical way of selling. Like,
I think sales is such a broad concept because let's say let's just pick the example of Jordan Peterson. Like he's a very well-known public figure. He's written a lot of books. Everyone likes him. He's got lectures on YouTube. He's got podcasts and all that stuff. And if he releases a new product, it's like, oh hey, by the way, I created this. You can
true,
check it out, and maybe it will help you. This is already sales.
true.
And sales is also like a shitty product from, I don't know, that you bought on Alibaba and it's going to last you for 3 days because it doesn't resist, and then you like force selling kind of it on Facebook,
Yeah,
advertising heavily. This is also sales. So
yeah.
how do you? I think you've got so many different ways of
Too broad.
advertisement. Yeah, it's way too broad.
Like I heard of his book through the Cathy Newman interview. Like someone was reviewing it, and
Mm,
the reviewer mentioned, oh, he has this book that's releasing, so that's why he was on this interview.
mm.
And so I was like, oh, I want to read this book. I didn't even know him. I saw the interview, whatever made me feel a certain way. I wanted to get the book. Um, so he didn't even sell anything. So I guess that's also
Yeah,
sales, just word of mouth.
yeah,
Um,
true.
so I think maybe you've mentioned it before, but yeah, just saying that you have this thing out there and letting the people decide if they want it or not. I heard like I heard getting people to buy a product, you are helping them get out of their way by you kind of pressure them to do something that they know they have to do but don't feel like doing it, and so you're using techniques and strategies to pressure them into doing what they know they must do or they should do. So that's kind of a gray area for me. So
I don't really understand, not gonna lie.
so I watched this guy called Alex Hormozi. I'm going to be more specific,
Oh yeah,
and
I've seen him.
yeah,
Pretty interesting.
he's
Go
very
on.
dedicated. He spends like millions of dollars learning techniques, strategies, learning from the best people. He donates a lot of his money to be around those who donate a lot of money and learn from them. He really specifies on how to sell the best. And I was learning his techniques, and the way he was describing some sales methods was um the I think it was helping the person do something that they don't fully feel like doing now, but they know it would be good for them. Maybe buying a certain product, it's a bit expensive, but I know it would be good for me if I had it. Or doing a gym membership because he works with gyms or something like that. I think
Yeah.
he has some sort of a gym background and so like helping these guys to work. Fuck, I think
You
I'm
know
off.
what's interesting with that Alex Hormozi is that I used to watch his videos too, and I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. This is really cool. And then I showed it to my brother, and he was like, uh, "Did you see his website?" Because he checked it out, and he was like, "Yeah, it makes sense." And he kind of checked out his what
Acquisition.com.
he has. Yeah, and look that there is no like the company. There is literally no company described.
Shocked.
Uh,
What?
there is no company address.
Right.
The This website is like really shitty,
Sketchy.
especially it's really shitty and kind of fishy, I think.
Right.
When you look at it, when he says that he's earning like millions of dollars a year, and
Oh, I
yeah,
see it.
I don't know how how do you say it, how legitimate what he's saying is, because uh, from what he's saying and what you can find on his website, it's like two different worlds. So
I think I
so
can
yeah.
share it here.
Oh yeah, that would be
Can you see
cool.
it?
Yeah, I can see it. Can you go to the very bottom?
The very bottom. Yep.
Yeah, here. You have acquisition.com LLC. Does this even exist? Acquisition. Let me check it out. Whoops. Let's see. Because you should be able to find that if this is a real company, you should be able to find it in some uh, government thing. Let's check it out.
I don't know. Can I help you share the screen? One second. I'll remove this.
Status inactive dissolved. What does that mean? Acquisition.com LLC.
I don't know if you can share the screen. Can you share?
Oh
the
yeah, of
screen?
course. I've got it. How can I share it? Share screen.
At the bottom.
Then
Oh, you can.
Yep,
Excellent.
I can. Let me share the first screen. Okay. I'm an IT guy, so that's why I'm checking it out. Look,
Okay. 1 second.
acquisition.com. It's been initial filing. What does inactive dissolved mean? The status of this company.
Let me
Does it
Google
mean that it's inactive and that's
inactive
it's
dissolve.
I checked it out like a few months ago. There wasn't even an address in the company on the very bottom. You've been
It
blocked.
refers to dissolving a business that is inactive. When a business dissolves, it no longer has to file income tax or annual reports. So dissolving business that is inactive. Is it inactive?
Apparently.
What if he just made so many videos that we think he's active, but actually these are old videos, maybe. I
You've
don't know.
been blocked for security
Yeah,
reasons.
I got the same thing, so I just posted. placed it in Google and then found the exact website instead of placing it in the URL. So I placed it on just google.com and then I
You
placed
see, there are already quite a few red flags.
and then I
First of all, this website is kind of you've been blocked, which is pretty weird.
in the search I placed .com. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Home, you've been
Oh,
blocked.
what the hell? Yeah, so it's
okay. So I've been blocked. Interesting. Second of all, his company has been inactive, dissolved since 2019 for the past 3 years. If we look at him on YouTube, let's see it.
Man, if the title is like Alex Hormozi is a fraud, it will blow up.
Yeah, because I really do believe that it's really like 16 hours ago. This guy is posting, and his company is inactive
he
for
is
the past
posting.
3 years.
Oh, I thought maybe I was wrong. Maybe he just posted a lot of videos, and I think
Like
he's active, but
22
he's
hours
not.
ago, 16 hours ago, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, and here is literally
The thumbnails. Oh, this is the secret. This is the secret. Oh my god, I loved it.
So this is the perfect example of always check your sources. And
Right.
oh, here it is, inactive, dissolved. This is really interesting. So registry page, YOBiz, YOGov business. Oh, this is probably the governmental page if it's the .gov. Yep. Oh, so here you've got an address which you probably cannot find on the website.
I probably should hide that.
Well,
oh no, it's public access. No, it's all good.
No, it's publicly
Available.
Yeah, available. But yeah, his website is really
Damn. Yeah.
iffy, if I can say so.
Remove.
Strange. Yeah, he's hiding quite a lot of things, and for a guy that's saying he's earning millions of dollars having such a website, as I'm a IT guy myself, and I've made some websites, like quick ones, of course, because I'm not a website guy. It's not a website of guy earning millions of dollars. It's a cheap website, which is not very very good. So
right,
he's saying a lot of things, and I don't see it backed up. So this
what
guy,
if it's like a laundering website? You know that this is like my public thing, but like my actual where I get my money from, probably way back there. Like you see his cap, he has the pyramid and whatever. So like, yeah,
of acquisition.
It was legit until now. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it too. I cannot say that he's not legitimate because I don't know for sure, but there are a lot of shady
the
stuff.
Website.
Yeah.
We can say for a fact the website.
Like what he's saying on YouTube, like I can say I'm a millionaire. I'm like last year I've earned $10 million. And by the way,
wow,
flying a private jet is a lot of fun. And yeah, my Rolls Royce is in my garage. Like, okay, cool.
Knowledge.
How can you prove it? Yeah, nailed it. And even if I post a video with me on a plane, and I post a video with me riding a Rolls Royce, you can rent it for a couple hundreds or even a couple $1,000s. And if you've got a good video on YouTube with 1 million views, it probably can pay you for a rental of that car. And there's actually a lot of YouTubers renting cars pretending to be millionaires because they make money from these videos. It's such a vicious cycle.
The guy makes his videos he makes his videos in a walk-in cupboard. In a walking is it called a cupboard? The walk-in fucking, you know, where you keep your clothes? What's that thing called? Closet. There we go. Yeah, my English just disappeared. His videos are in that like walk-in, that small room. Yeah. So
I mean, the videos, okay, but prove what you're saying, because in his videos, I've never seen the proof of his yearly revenue, of which he says he's making like 100 millions a year.
I have nothing to sell you. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I have nothing
he says it right after that. Yeah,
I have nothing to sell you. His company is inactive for 3 years, but he's making 100 million a year. Like, or I'm not reading it right, or there is something really shady.
Right.
So
Have
I've
you been
just stopped watching
seeing?
his videos.
Have you been seeing Andrew Tate? Andrew Tate videos. Tate speech.
Nope.
No. This bald guy who's like tattooed, gangster, drives a Bugatti. Okay, no, never mind. He's been popping up everywhere for me, and
No clue.
pretty interesting dude, full of energy, extroverted as hell, and never satisfied with what he has. But he's speaking like he has a lot of wisdom and just interesting personality to watch online. Anyway, if you don't know him, it's a useless conversation.
There is a guy I enjoy, which there are actually a few YouTubers which are really, really rich, and I have no doubt about it. I don't know if you've heard of. He's not making like how to make money videos. He's
Mm.
making car videos because he's a car collector. His name is Manny Koshbin. I don't know if you've seen him. He's got beautiful cars, like
How do you spell it?
millions. Oh shit! It's like Manny, and I'm gonna send you his YouTube channel name.
Can we place it in the private chat?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would have written it the right way. Sweet. Manny Koshbin. How can I write a comment? I actually cannot.
Oh, I don't.
I've
Oh,
got it.
I think only I can, but in private chat, yeah.
I've sent it to you in the private chat. Manny Koshbin.
Right.
And yeah, his videos are mainly showing out the cars he has or etc. And it's a lot of fun. And you see that this guy is legit
Let me
because
share this with everyone. So, boom, boom, boom. Share screen.
and yeah.
Ah, I was sharing. Ah, I didn't realize I was sharing.
And there's also like another fun one which I enjoy watching is producer Michael. He's also like a producer from Los Angeles, and
Right.
uh, and a lot of this is producer Michael on the thumbnail.
This guy?
On the middle one, the
Oh,
one on
there he is. Yeah,
watch.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a watch collector, so he's got a lot of videos of
Right.
watches and all that stuff. So it's quite yeah. These ones
Cool.
they don't pretend to be millionaires. You just see that they're really rich. So it's pretty funny.
I heard Andrew Tate say. I assume he has a lot of money.
Andrew Tate.
From his videos, Andrew Tate, yeah, from his videos, he owns a lot of supercars, and um, yeah, only because of the cars that I know he has money. Then again, can't prove anything. But he said,
You know which guy I enjoyed the most about making money? Naval Ravikant.
"Fucking love that guy, love that guy."
This guy, he's been on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah,
I think it was like it's definitely one of my favorite podcasts from Joe Rogan. And
yeah,
Naval, like, I've never heard of him before the podcast,
same.
and what he was saying on the podcast was making so much sense. Like, if I would say
I listened to
someone
him
learning
yesterday.
about money, like this is a very good starting point.
Yeah, I love his advice on finding your dream job. Find something that feels like play to you, feels like play, so it's emotion, but looks like work to someone else. And if it looks like work to someone else, they're willing to
Mm,
pay you. So if it feels like play to you, you won't be doing it just for the money. You'll go beyond and work much longer than those who are in it just for the money and outlast them. And
interesting.
follow your obsession. What are you obsessed by? Not your passion, your obsession. And businesses go up and down. It's not great. And if you're obsessed by it, you won't stop. You'll just keep on doing it. So find what feels like play to you but looks like work to someone else. And if that's your obsession, that's probably the
Yeah,
best route to your dream job or dream career.
interesting.
So yeah, and honesty, having real clients or real following, real audience. Having a small real audience instead of a large fake audience is much better long term.
Yeah,
Sure, you might not get them quickly, but I forgot what the benefit was of having a real honest. I forget, but his his advice always sounds so true, always
Yeah,
sounds so distilled, so obvious sometimes, and I'm like, damn, I like this guy. The way he thinks,
yeah,
so
and
good.
and he's super authentic too. This is what I love about him.
Yeah. You know, he has a brother called Kamal Ravikant. Naval
Yep.
Ravikant, Kamal Ravikant. His brother was focused on self love, and I was reading all the book summaries of that book. Not to read the book because I'm lazy with reading books, but love yourself like your life depends on it.
Hmm.
And I was practicing what he gave in that book, which was listen to a song that makes you feel good and meditate on self love for like 5 minutes a day. And then when you're walking or doing any activity, just tell yourself, I love myself, I love myself, while you're building a groove in your brain that you do love yourself. And even if you don't feel it right now, if you don't think it's true, keep on repeating it until you do start feeling that you're like one day you might be doing something and then you realize, oh, I do love myself. It overwhelms you and it becomes true. Now, part of it does kind of feel like hypnosis. You're
Mm.
hypnotizing yourself into believing something that you don't believe. But then, if it works, if you do inevitably love yourself, he did it because his dad died, and then he was in a shitty situation with his business, and then I think he lost his business or whatever, so he was in a dark place. And then he was like, "Whatever happens, I'm gonna just choose to love myself." And he went on
Mm.
this journey of loving himself. And then people around him were like, "Write a book about this. I want to read. I want to read it. Write a book." And then he wrote a book, placed it on Amazon. He didn't advertise it, and then it became the number one seller. And then he started doing interviews
That's
and speaks talks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and back to sales. I don't remember who said it, but I remember hearing once like, if you've got a really good product, you don't even need to
It will
advertise it.
sell. It would sell itself. I mean, Tesla.
Oh yeah, true. Tesla does it too.
Yeah. But then again, Elon is such a big
Yeah,
name. He's basically a brand.
but he wasn't before Tesla.
True.
He
True.
became a big name with Tesla and then with SpaceX.
Yeah. Like, I remember people were like saying Tesla's going to flop. It's a terrible investment. Um, but he persisted anyway. Wasn't he one of the guys who invented PayPal? He was working on
Yeah,
X.com, I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
And then that inevitably became PayPal. Eventually, not inevitably, eventually became PayPal.
Yep.
So he must have already been mingling with these big cats and earned his name through actually making something that's useful and
Yeah, I believe that by selling PayPal or for $1 billion, or I don't remember, like a huge amount of money. By selling it, he had the money to start Tesla.
mm. And I like the way I remember the way he started with the Tesla cars. The first Roadster cost a lot, kind of shit. Well, it wasn't great. Well, of course, because the electric cars weren't
Yeah,
a thing, so obviously it had to cost more. And then the next car was cost less, was better. Now from all the experience, and then it kind of went up like that.
yeah, yeah.
So
And now it costs even less and less and less.
yeah, and then some cars are like ridiculous. Because like you can buy a Tesla Model 3 for I forget how much, either 40 grand or 60 grand, I forget. But then all the upgrades, like the self-driving upgrade,
Yeah,
whatever, there's upgrades that you can do to it to maybe like cover it, that can make it cost more. Wasn't
that's
PlayStation the same way? PlayStation, the first PlayStations cost a fuck ton, and the next ones cost way less and they were much better.
yeah,
I think it
probably.
was. Yeah.
The technology is also going a lot forward with all the kinds of electronics like computers, PlayStations, and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah. I kind of have this inkling that what separates a PlayStation from a computer? Doesn't it have graphics cards? Doesn't it have like GPUs? I'm not a computer person. I'm not going to
yeah,
pretend I am. Like, what makes it different? Is it just that it's more? it's more focused on gaming instead of browsing the web. So
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
the only
Yeah,
difference?
that's it.
Okay, right. Because I had this inkling that it's going to be virtually indistinguishable in like maybe 10 years. That there might be
Hmm.
no more PlayStation, no more Xbox. It's just a device that does everything that a computer can do.
Actually, like, computers can do what PlayStations can. Uh,
And arguably better.
I don't know a lot about it, but definitely PlayStations, Xboxes, and all that stuff, they are made to be played at, and it's very much uh, like the MacBooks. It's you have to make one software for one machine. If you look at a lot of PCs, not the Macs, uh, you have to make one software that works on a huge amount of machines that are completely different in specs. So if somebody has a Windows, it can work an old CPU, an old GPU, an old computer, but it also has to work on a new computer. And you've got a lot of problems that come in the way that you have to focus on a lot of components of the machine. And if you have a PlayStation 5, you know what components it has. It always has the same hardware. So you can make this one software which is optimized for that very machine. And that's
Mm.
how also Apple does with its computers. Like it's Apple software is super optimized for Apple products because they don't have many kind of different things.
I heard that when they started making MacBooks, they gave them to like 60-year-olds who obviously would struggle with technology, but then
Yeah.
they were seeing how well they would use this product, this
Mm,
Macintosh, and making it as simple as possible that even an elderly person can use it easily. So
yeah.
Peterson was like, if people don't know how to use it, it's your fault for designing it shit like badly.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it was the Michaela Peterson podcast when it was Michaela, Julian, and Jordan talking to each other. And I learned recently that the QWERTY keyboard is designed to make you slower writing instead of faster. That the original QWERTY keyboard was for the typewriters, and if you type too fast, it will jam the keys. So they designed the most useful letters to be spaced out, so you don't type as fast. And the fastest, I sent this to my roommate. The fastest keyboard is the I have an AZERTY keyboard, the French one, and I just put the stickers on top. It's such a nuisance. I hate it. One second. The fastest keyboard is
Yeah, I think that's 32. Once you get used to one keyboard, it's so hard to get unused to it. What's
yeah,
the
because you
name
have
of that fast layout? Do you have
like
it?
I sent it to my roommate. I definitely sent it to my roommate. So
Let me check it. The Colmac.
is it?
Dvorak. Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. It's pronounced very strangely. I want to. Can you copy and paste it in the private chat, and maybe I can place it in the comments.
Uh,
The
Dvorak. Yeah.
Yeah, Dvorak. Right.
It's funny because you say that it's really hard to pronounce or weird to pronounce. And as
I
I
think
look,
they said something else, but no, it's definitely that one. And so apparently it will increase your writing speed dramatically, and it's the most efficient key layout there is. So
mm,
damn, like why do they still have the QWERTY then? It's like we've been doing
eh,
this for a long time. That's why. I mean, um, I probably I have this feeling like I'd want to change, but then I also don't want to change for the same reason because I'm used to the QWERTY. You know,
do you know how to type fast already,
no,
or
I
not
think
really?
I can do the when I did the speed test.
Mm.
There's a website where you test your speed. I think I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
average, like where the car goes and you see how fast the car can go. I was
Oh yeah,
average. So
speed rate type racer.
yeah, type racer. That's the one. That's the one. No, I'm
Yeah,
average. So maybe it would be useful for me to learn. So
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, carry on.
learning how to type fast is I mean, for me, it was a very useful skill because I learned how to type fast without looking. And
Nice.
I don't really, I right now I wouldn't really feel the need to have a faster layout because I'm not a writer. I'm not a transcriptor
Ah,
of when somebody
right.
says and I have to type it super fast.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
see.
see the need of writing even faster because
Right,
I'm like at around 70, 80 words per minute right now on the average, and my
right.
brother is much faster.
That
He's
sounds
like
like a lot.
90, 100. Most people, I believe, are around 30, and you
Words
can
per
learn it.
minute.
Yeah, I
30
believe
and
so.
you're 70. Holy shit.
You can learn it. It's not really hard. You spend like a week learning the keyboard layout, and then with
Right.
time, it just becomes faster and faster. And because I'm programming a lot, so I have to. I mean, it's super useful to type fast,
Yeah.
and I don't really see the point of typing even faster because it's literally trans for I don't know, very few cases. So
Yeah.
just learn to type fast. I think is more beneficial than learning the Dvorak
Yeah.
key layout because
Okay.
also you will have that key layout on only on your computer. So as soon as
Yeah.
you
And then
use
you have to
someone,
fuck up your brain. Like, yeah,
yeah,
well,
you're
if you
like,
touch
fuck,
any
where's
other
that
keyboard.
key? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can write super fast, but here,
Oh, that's right. The
yeah.
one I have a few problems with the AZERTY. You have to you have to press shift to type the
Oh,
numbers.
the
That's
hazard is
who
shit.
thought of that? Who thought of that? And you have to press shift to press the full stop, you know?
Yeah,
What how does that make
yeah,
sense? Like it's they say well because the French keys on
characters.
the I don't know the characters are very useful, and when you're placing the lines on top of the letters, I don't know, it's useful, but I guess I'm not French,
Yeah,
so I don't.
man. My
Who
mom's got
uses AZERTY? Is it French, and I think one more country uses AZERTY, and everyone else is QWERTY.
yeah.
You said your
Uh,
mom uses.
Germany's got a weird keyboard layout too, I believe.
Right.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the benefit also of learning to write without looking at the keyboard, because then you just can switch the keyboard, having AZERTY keys, but having a QWERTY
Yeah.
uh, keyboard setup, and as you know which keys where, you just don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. You switch.
Absolutely. Like some of I got the stickers for most of my keys. Some of them I don't need them because I just know what it is. Like the
Mm,
at symbol, I know where that is on my keyboard, but I don't have a sticker on it. So yeah,
mm,
that's definitely useful. Um, ev- uh, for passwords, it's the most ridiculous thing because if I'm at my girlfriend's place and I have to log into my Gmail or whatever, and
yeah,
like I have to hold shift to press in the numbers and the question mark. I mean, yeah, I always get my
yeah.
passwords wrong. I think we're
Uh,
buying. Oh, that's what happened. We're buying our flights 2 days ago, and I was signing into Ryanair, but it only gave me 3 goes to sign in. Otherwise, it would block the account. I couldn't get in, and I blocked my account, so I had to reset the password and go through all that hassle. So yeah,
just because of that keyboard.
because of that keyboard, terrible.
Yeah, people who invented the AZERTY should land in hell.
And they're probably dead by now. So yeah, probably. Ah. So actually,
Yeah.
going to dating, what I found most useful in my relationship, what kept us afloat and doing well, um, I think, well, firstly, you need a good partner that also wants the best. Like, I think if one sabotages intentionally, no matter what you do, it's never gonna work out. But it's the old, I mean, talking it out, talking problems through, and trying to find a solution. I think
Mm.
that's what it was. Like, a problem shared is a problem halved. And so if we talk about a problem that we're having right now, it feels so much better. Or I know I'm shit at texting a problem out. Like, I can't express my emotions correctly, or I over exaggerate, or I under exaggerate. I don't know if there's a word like that,
Yeah,
but I'm really bad
under-
at it. But if we talk, it solves itself. And maybe it might take two conversations, maybe it won't take one. And sometimes like having a conversation, taking some space and having a conversation again, that space allows me to get a snap out of it. Oh, I'm actually, this is my partner. Like I'm not, like I was like, my emotions got the best of me, so I should calm down or whatever. uh I feel like I'm someone who gets frustrated in situations more easily. So if there's a problem, it's usually I'm the one frustrated, so I need to calm down. I don't. I'm like a kid, Oh, I don't like this, type of shit. I hate it. It's so fucking feminine. Like it's not even a cool frustration. It's like, don't like this, and yeah. So talking it out and trying to find a solution usually works best. What do you think helped out your relationships to help, keep them going and stay afloat? What worked best?
That's a good question. I think that being open, indeed, and talking things out. I'm not an expert at long-term relationships because,
Neither am I. This is my first one.
yeah,
I mean, first one that's this long.
I cannot say like do this, and this, and it will last a long time. Uh, I don't really know. I've been much better at doing the short-term stuff because of what we've been learning in the past years uh, with all these uh, dating
Pick apart
advice.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty retarded, but I need to discover the world of long-term relationships and how to keep them afloat. But I do believe that it's a constant effort. I mean, not effort, but constant, uh, yeah, effort. Like you cannot just have a relationship and then you're okay. I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
There's
going to be
never
forever and after. Yeah,
like there are moments where it's like, oh, it feels like everything is settled. There's always going to be something. Like
yeah.
maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months. There's
Mm.
always going to be something, but I have the faith that it's going to be fine. Maybe in that moment it's a bit like uneasy, but
Yeah.
and not even having the perspective that there's always going to be something. So I only focus on there's always going to be something. I'm always focused on the happy moments. I'm temperamentally more a person who thinks it's always going to work out. I did the personality test of Jordan Peterson, and I think openness, conscientiousness, is it agreeableness or low in neuroticism? I think I don't know what I don't know which it was, but it was just that I have this temperament, this personality where I think that it's always going to work out for the best, and it's not always a great personality to have, but I mean, it does for my relationship so far. So far, you always have to say that. But anyway, that's what I found. What helped us most, it was if we had a problem, we would find a time that we can be alone together and talk this out. And sometimes when we do meet up, like the first conversations are like, oh, whatever, and then we're trying to find a time to actually start that conversation. And then once we do, it takes a while,
I see.
but we get
Uh,
there. And yeah, I'm sure there's way more many things that help keep a relationship afloat and be healthy and nurturing and growing. I think it was Leo Tolstoy who said, "A marriage isn't in what makes you compatible, but it makes what makes a marriage is how well you deal with incompatibilities. That's what makes a marriage." And I feel like that makes a lot of sense. Like if you're all compatible, that's it. Like there's nothing to like.
yeah.
There's no real discussion. You just do whatever you do. But then, since you are two different individuals, obviously there's going to be incompatibilities, and that is where the difficulty starts. That is where the relationship starts. Um, I think that's maybe there's a better way of seeing it. But when I heard that phrase, that the way he said it, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I'll bring up the exact quote. I think I got the best of it, but Leo Tolstoy
Yeah, I think it's a pretty
marriage
good way to put it.
quote. Let me go through images. Yeah, what counts in making a happy marriage is not so much how compatible you are, but how you deal with incompatibility. So it's happy marriage that he focused on. Right.
I think that's a really good point. I think it was probably a thing I've been thinking of, but couldn't put a finger on. Is that exactly the same thing? Is that you have those moments when you're like, fuck, it doesn't work out perfectly. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I had this thought in the back of my head, like, what if we're not made up for each other? And then I think then I think more logically. I'm like, actually, she's the coolest girl I've met so
Yeah.
far. I really enjoy spending time with her. But in that moment, like, you have that thought in the back of your head, and I think that quote is really good. This really helps
Like,
accept the fact that it's not always like a well-oiled gear, but
right.
sometimes it bunks up. Let's say.
Yeah. Yeah, there's never a perfect match. I think I like that Peterson talks about it a lot. That he talks about love and relationships. Like I watch a lot of his videos on it, maybe all of them on relationships. He was mentioning you don't ever know if it's the right person. You choose them. You choose to be in that relationship every day. And that don't underestimate how much of a relationship is actually building it. Like those marriages in like like India, they arrange marriages, and many other countries. They don't seem to not work as much as they do work. Like they're not really predicated on love, but there's something else, and they seem to be doing fine compared to our Western marriage failure rates. So a lot of a relationship, a lot of a marriage is actually building it together and choosing the person. So sometimes, like obviously, like anyone would have, is this the right person? But then like I always think of like, this is the most awesome girl ever. Like gold mine of how did I even get so lucky meeting this person? How did I, like, everyone I've met has never came close to this person. How did I get so lucky? And so yeah, and also thinking about Peterson's quote that you always choose the person and you build a relationship.
Yeah.
It calms my nerves down, makes well, going through the trials and tribulations of a relationship.
Yeah, true.
That calms my nerves down.
I think this is it. Like, you build a relationship. It's not like you're meant for each other or you're not meant for each other. I think the example with countries where you've got a marriage kind of set up by parents.
Yeah.
It's true that they don't get divorces because very often they're not allowed to, but pretty often the marriages are fine.
Yeah.
Actually.
Aren't they like usually between like the parents' friends, that like they're just linking the two families together between friends of the family? So it's like, oh, I have a daughter that's good looking, and your son is quite successful and whatever. My daughter's not
Yeah.
married yet. Like it's about time she should be.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
it's a well-oiled machine, let's say.
Yeah. I was Ireland has many castles. Ireland. I say it with such a strong accent, but I went to this one castle where they had this room designed perfectly so one family and the second family would have their like sons and daughters sit on this couch, and then there's going to be like two people listening in on
Really?
either sides of the couch, listening in to see if they're like linking up or if they're not. And so they designed the room just so they would get these people mating type of stuff. And
Interesting.
yeah, and that the families would invite rich people over once in a while to throw parties and meet different new people and be in their bubble of wealth and richness and link the young people up. I thought that was pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. They don't
Yeah.
dirty up their blood with poor people, so they only link up with the rich kids. Yeah, ugh. Poor people, yuck. I mean, that's what the British did too with the royal family. They're all inbred, only inbreeding.
Yeah.
And apparently, I heard Joe talk about this. Joe Rogan talk about, if you look at the old paintings of the royal family before, their faces were all distorted. I didn't actually look into it, but apparently there's a lot of inbreeding nonsense going on. So yeah.
Interesting. You know what's funny is that it still kind of exists in today's world with very extremely wealthy families. Like, to not dilute the wealth, you take two super wealthy families
Yeah.
and you kind of join the kids. And
Yeah.
so
But
this way,
is that
like,
not like a birds of a feather flock together? Like, isn't that not just, oh, I'm comfortable around these types of people, why not date them? Or is
no,
that more specifically chosen? Like, you're
yeah,
wealthy, I'm
it's
wealthy.
like chosen from what I've heard, like big families, like the Rothschilds and the like big, super, super, super wealthy families, like they keep together,
Right.
like just for the money, kind of.
I see. Okay.
I believe that it's also what you say, that you're probably comfortable in such environment because it's what you
Yeah.
grew up with,
Yeah.
and but still, they
It's your in group. No,
from what I heard,
I believe
it's
that.
yeah, but
I
from
believe your one.
what I heard, it's badly viewed if you want to marry someone that is not from a wealthy, like super wealthy family, because you're like
Makes
the
sense.
yeah, kind of, and then you're like, okay, you don't have much choice actually,
Poor
but
people.
still, maybe you can make it work.
I love making jokes about poor people, even though I'm poor. I love it. It's like, oh, I would go through the street. I hate poor people, even though like I have like €5 in my wallet or some shit. I love doing that stuff. I don't know why. My humor is so fucked up. I like making jokes. I recently realized this. I like making jokes that would usually make someone like
Uncomfortable.
yeah, uncomfortable, or I would get reprimanded by my mother. Like if I would joke about like my parent or something like that, that would obviously get me in a bit of trouble, but not too much to where something would happen. I'm right on that edge. Like, I love it. Or making someone feel uncomfortable or whatever. My humor is so strange. I don't understand it, but it's not. It's a mix of dark humor and just awkwardness and yeah, I guess there's definitely a better word than awkwardness. I want to say retardation, but it's not right. It's not that bad. It's I don't understand why certain things make me funny, but maybe some simple things also make me funny. Like, I don't feel like I'm that dry humor, but
Yeah.
some simple things do make me laugh.
Hmm.
My favorite comedians are Shane Gillis and who's that guy that recently died? What's his name? I'm bad at names, by the way.
No
Shane
idea.
Gillis, and he made a lot of 9/11 jokes. Oh my god, what's his name? I
He
can
what?
see his 9/11 jokes. You'll probably. I'll find them. 1 second. 9/11
No
jokes.
clue.
Comedian. Gosh, Gilbert Gottfried is also pretty funny. Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald.
Oh,
So
I've heard of this name.
I
Norman.
love that guy. His humor is very particular. His humor is the humor for comedians. He's the comedian's comedian, and I like his particular humor. and it shows that my internet is lagging. It's unstable. Can you hear me fine?
I can. It's cutting a little. The video quality is shit, but I can understand you. So
Damn,
the audio
damn.
is good.
Right. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty much the end of the conversation. I don't understand my humor. I'm trying to understand it.
I mean, everyone has his own humor as long as you meet
I'm
people.
ashamed of mine. I
Why?
think this is one thing that I feel I'm really working on, or trying to work on. My girlfriend is comfortable with being weird with her friends. Like all of her friends are weird in the same way, and they
Mm,
express
yeah.
themselves. And I want what she has. I have this with only my brother, and no one else. We're
Mm,
weird together in a particular way, but I don't
I
have that
see.
with anyone else. And so I I think I'm afraid of my weird humor, and I can't.
It's funny
I'm
because
afraid to show it, and then I can't connect with anyone because I don't know who to show it to. So it's like I also don't know what it is entirely. What is my humor? But yeah,
I used to
struggling.
have kind of hurting, let's kind of say humor, uh, especially
What's
with my
that
brother.
humor?
Well,
What humor?
hurting, kind of like,
Hurting?
yeah, yeah. But I'm gonna explain. Is that with my brother, we really like to make that kind of pointy comments, like in the like coming from a fun place, of course, like joking. But the thing was that quite often is it was wrongly interpreted. Maybe like not even if often, but sometimes it was wrongly interpreted as uh, fine. I should give you an example.
Like you're wearing a puffy sweater. What are you, gay? Something like
Uh,
that.
yeah, for example. Yeah, for example.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh, you can interpret it as a joke, like, oh, that's a
Yeah,
funny joke. But imagine there's someone that doesn't know you really well, and they
yeah,
interpret it as like, oh, okay, he's like super homophobic, and you
yeah.
can interpret it both ways. And what I've been doing is that now I avoid jokes that can be misinterpreted and that can
Mm.
be understood in a hurtful way. So, for example, I think if I say this, will this be interpreted as a uh, what is the upside potential of making a fun joke, and what is the potential downside of it being misunderstood? And
Yeah,
very often you realize that the upside is much lower than the downside in
yeah,
certain.
yeah.
But you can very often turn a joke around so that it's fun without the potential of being hurtful. So, for
Oh,
example,
I
I don't
hate
know, a
that.
puffy sweater, you can always turn that joke into like, a sweet puffy sweater, like you make me horny or whatever.
Yeah,
It's still kind of the
you
same
accept
joke.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, but turned around, and now you don't have the only downside is that someone thinks that you're gay, but it's still, but they see that it's probably funny,
mm.
and there is no that downside anymore. So I've been trying to or avoid jokes that can be misinterpreted, or just turn them around so that they don't have that negative negative potential effect. So
I
yeah,
feel like doing a voice for a joke
yeah,
is like the shield that, like, oh, I'm just doing a character. Obviously it's not me who's saying it, it's the character.
yeah,
i, I don't do the voice though. Like, it's my voice, so it's like, what? So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very,
people
very
that can
often,
do a voice or an accent, oh, exactly, like an accent, like,
yeah,
one of the comedians can do, Shane Gillis can do Donald Trump accents, and it's hilarious. And it's obviously that he's making a character out of the
yeah,
situation or whatever, like, but it's perfect. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm trying
true.
to figure out humor. That's one of the struggles I'm trying to like overcome. How can I laugh more? How can I be more weird? Thankfully, thankfully my girlfriend's also like, she already overcame that when she was a kid, so she's like helped me out with this. My roommate is helped me out with this, laughing about stupid stuff, so I have support.
Mhm.
But I'm getting out there. So yeah, this is one of my struggles right now.
Yeah, the humor. Yeah, I get you. I had to have a conversation with my brother because as we had it together, I was like, was like, I want to stop it. And he was continuing it. And then we had a conversation. I was like, man, because we kind of hurt people sometimes with our jokes. I was like, oh, whatever. And then we talked a bit more, and he stopped doing it too. And now it's much better. Now, even if a joke is not understood, it's just awkwardness, but it's not hurting someone, you know?
Yeah. Cringe. That's the word I was trying to find.
Yes,
Cringe.
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 Yeah,
Fuck. Maybe we have similar humor. I don't know. But
maybe.
I called my brother a few days ago. It was my parents' anniversary, and we played a game called Crunker.io. It's like a Counter-Strike meets Roblox. So you don't need a fancy gaming PC to play it. You can just play it on a laptop.
Okay.
And we're just chatting, and our humor is the same. We think the same. First time in over 5 months, I cried laughing. And like over 5 months, because I haven't been home since 5 months. So I was like, man, I miss this. I miss this humor. I miss this banter that I can cry laughing. And it was like midnight, so it was even funnier because people are sleeping. So it was just.
I've heard that the Australian humor is very, very. I don't even know how to call it, like pointy, where you kind of banter as you.
Yeah, it's Irish people do it too. The reason why Irish people do it is because it's actually you're doing the if you abuse them, it's abusive humor. If you abuse them and they can take it well and they can maybe agree and exaggerate it, that means they're stronger as a person, as a character. They're stronger than the joke. So it's a compliment if they can take it well. And if they can't take it well, I don't want to be around that person. It's too sensitive. But if they can take it well, it's funny and you can exaggerate, make the fucking rip them apart, and everyone can laugh. And so Irish people do it a lot. But
I think it might then depend on the country, then on the culture itself, because I do understand that, because this is not French humor, like ripping someone apart. Like the French humor is telling a story in such a way that it's just funny. I don't know if I mean,
I
that's
haven't
what
experienced it enough though, sadly. Like the only humor I know would be my girlfriend, and she would be what's the word where it's obvious but it's false. It's ironic.
Oh yeah.
So, irony. So that's her humor. I don't know if that's general French humor. That's the only humor I experience because I don't speak French.
Yeah, pretty much. And is she also like complaining, but in a funny way?
No.
Oh
No. Maybe with her friends in French. Maybe I wouldn't know.
Maybe because
I heard French people complain a lot. I heard that's I heard like that's the narrative, isn't it? That's the what's the words? What's those types of people do it? What's the word? That like fucking black people love watermelon. What's the word?
Oh yeah, stereotypes.
Stereotype. That's the stereotype of French people, that they complain. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Not my girlfriend, but oh shit, my laptop's dying. 1 second, let me get the.
No worries.
Actually, I'm realizing that this conversation is already an hour and a half in.
Yeah.
And I know you're quite a busy man. You're hard to get a hold of. I think I want to cover one more thing. So I want to be teaching guys how to find the types of women that they want to live with and potentially have a long-term relationship and marry, like someone that they can feel like, oh, I would want to spend my life with this person. I'm thinking of like a 6-week program because we did a 6-week program. So the way I would design it, or the way I already have it designed pretty much, is the dream girl exercise, finding out who you want and who you want to become, where to meet the person, and so that's the first 2 or 3 weeks. So because of one call every Sunday. So the first call would be who, then the where. It could be in the same call or the next call. Where would we meet them, and how could we schedule this in their day, and then how do they actually go about doing it? And then the following weeks, the following 3 or 4 weeks would be like, okay, what are your results? How do you get better? What are your results? How do you get better? Do you think maybe I should add anything to that? Because to me, that's what helped me the most. Figuring out who do I like the most, what is attractive to me, how can I be a better person for that person, and where do I meet them? And then how do I go about it? Like, how do I talk normally? How do I not be like, oh, like a stupid joke that never worked for me? I tried the stupid jokes, fucking never worked for me. Even if I was positive mindset, doing the whatever exercises to feel good, it fucking never worked for me. So I was like, shit.
Because it's fake when you
Yeah.
when it's not you and you do it. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. yes, in the bathroom, fucking let's go out, talk to people. It never works. So that's the way I would design it. The first 2-3 weeks would be
I have
figuring
a
out
question.
who. Go on.
About the dream girl exercise. Did it help you defining your dream girl's only kind of character, or also her looks? Because I believe
Both.
that both. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm biased with beautiful faces because I once had a partner that had an average face, and I'm smiling because I feel guilty, but I knew there was something off. But like, the girl was nice, and I just had it in me, and I'm like,
Interesting.
something wrong. I don't know, but I knew all along what it was. But since I was only getting into it, it was like
Yeah.
relationships were new to me. So I was like I enjoyed everything, but like it was just, I'm biased towards
Yeah.
beautiful faces.
That little
So
thing.
yeah, it matters a lot to me, more than I realize. So for me, it's the beautiful face and that they're healthy. That's really it. The height isn't really a big thing. I thought I would be with someone shorter than me. My girlfriend's taller than me. And personality, I usually went for someone nurturing, kind, and reciprocal. I think just a nice, like, bookworm type. If we went through the Cohen's type, the bookworm, and that's who I met. That's who I met in the park. She was reading a book. Just went up and had a conversation, and 3 days later, and beautiful, had a beautiful relationship. So not after 3 dates. It was after a month of whatever. So yeah. So
Interesting.
it helped me
Because
out.
I realized that also, yeah, I've got my physical preferences, but I remember when we were doing the exercise, they were saying like define it like as detailed as possible, like the color of the
If she
hair
was
and
right
all that.
behind the door, I have it right here. I actually asked my mom to send it over to France. I have it right here. The Dream Girl exercise.
Oh yeah, and yeah, what I found is that I was putting way too much details, which I didn't really give a fuck about. Like for me, like the color hair or the hairstyle, like I don't
Yeah,
really give a fuck about that
yeah,
because I found that there are a lot of very attractive girls that look completely different. Like some girls have super short haircut, but they look stunning. Some girls have long curly, like kind of wavy hair. They look stunning.
yeah,
Some girls have super curly hair. They look stunning. So
yeah.
uh, yeah, it's
Well, wasn't it part of the exercise was like you take 2 minutes to cross off the things you don't really care about.
maybe it does. Maybe it was true.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only thing that I would take out of the exercise. I would mainly focus on the character and on the thing that you really want in physical aspect, maybe. But yeah,
I
it
like,
was an interesting exercise, especially the part of like who do you want to be or who
yeah,
you should be, and then
I
where you find
realized
that.
that, oh, on that actual note, who do you want to become for that partner? Um, recently, I went out with a drink. I went out for a drink with my friend who's a lecturer who got me the job.
Mm-hmm.
I dressed up nice. I dressed up with the shirt, nice black pants, good shoes, and then I came back and saw my girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh well, you didn't wear that. When we go away, you wear pretty plain clothes." And I knew that was kind of a joke, but then it could
Yeah,
have been like she would want to see me, dress
yeah,
a bit better.
well,
So
yeah,
for the past week, a bit less because it happened not too long ago. Now, okay, for the past week, I've been wearing dress shirts and good pants and whatever. So like,
yeah.
I'm
You look
trying to
good
be.
actually.
Yeah, thank you. So even Peterson says like, if you're like an adult, dress up. Don't be a teenager in an adult's body. Don't dress like a teenager if
Mm.
you're an adult. Um, so because these days that teenage lifehood is like the pinnacle. And then everything gets worse from there. But no, being an adult, you dress nice, you dress up, wear a proper
Mm.
suit, or be
Yeah.
presentable. And
Mm.
yeah, I want to be like that for my girlfriend. And I actually enjoy this. When we did the guy also Jan, isn't it? The fashion guy. I think his name was
Oh,
Jan,
fuck, I
but
don't remember.
Yan. Why Yannick? Yann? Anyway, his points were: does it look good on you?
Mm-hmm.
Can it look good on you every day? And does it feel authentic? And thankfully, this shirt does. And also, it's very hot outside, so that's why I'm
Yeah,
unbuttoned. It's
it does.
28 degrees Celsius. Holy shit, I'm baking in this room. But it it does feel authentic, thankfully, and it looks good, and I can feel like I can go out like this. See, I'm like rolled up. I'm not like all the way. So this is like
Yeah,
a casual type of dress,
yeah,
and so yeah, that was one of the things I wrote in my list of who does she want to be with. She wants to also be with someone who takes care of their looks, and
yeah,
be more sociable, be more expressive, have a good time, and yeah, that's something that I focused on, and it's
yeah,
something that I focused on recently. So it's pretty fun.
yeah. It's true. I also like to be dressed nicely.
You
Maybe
dress
not.
amazing. The first time I saw you, turtleneck, black, fucking no, it looked fantastic. Yeah,
Uh, I very like casual but elegant at the same in the same time.
yeah.
I don't know. And I found this brand of t-shirts. They're like in the touch. They're so amazing.
Mm.
And Polish brand Ansin. Pro,
Shout out to Anson. Yeah.
shout out. Not sponsored.
Yeah,
No,
not
just kidding.
sponsored. Yeah, none of
Yeah,
this is
I've
sponsored.
only got black and white t-shirts or long sleeves,
Mm.
and I've got like three pairs of pants, and that's enough for me because I just mix them, and I look always more or less the same, but I
Yeah,
try to look elegant, casual, whatever.
yeah.
But uh, I wanted to go back to what you said about Peterson saying like you're an adult, so you should dress up. I like dressing a bit more elegant, but I don't believe that you should force yourself to dress in an elegant way if that's not your thing. For
Mm.
example, if you forced Kanye West to jump in a suit every
Yeah,
single day, you'll be like,
yeah.
that's not Kanye West, you know? Okay, I don't really know what
He has
Kanye
all the
West style
bling,
is. Let me check what
or
he's.
Mr. T wouldn't fit in a suit. I don't know if you know Mr. T, or who
No
else?
clue. Yeah, they've got their style, and I believe that
Sorry.
maybe the dress like an adult would be pay attention to your clothes. Maybe not put on a shirt and a suit. It's just like pay attention to what you wear. Because very often, like for example, I see Kanye in those big sweatshirts and all that stuff. But he obviously pays attention to what he's wearing, all that stuff, and it's congruent to him, I believe. So,
Yeah,
and it's not like random like a teenager. So
I guess
that was just a little thing I wanted to say.
then Yannick's advice does work because it's what looks good on you, what
Mm.
looks good that you can wear every day, and what feels authentic. because there can
Yeah,
be things that look good on you, but you don't feel authentic
yeah,
wearing them.
true,
So
true.
yeah, Yannick, I like that we had that call. I don't know if you were there, but so we had that call with Valentina Cohen, but then we had an extra call afterwards. It was, I remember Humza was there. I remember uh, who's the guy? Jose was there. Maybe you were there. I don't remember. It was a group call, so it was like he does 150 an hour, but it was less because it was a group of us. But then he went through these things that he went through the X factor and all the stuff that we have covered, but then he went beyond into the authenticity part. Man, he changed my view on authenticity. He said that he threw out all the game, all the advice, and he just went natural, and he got way more results than he did before. And that was the beginning of that. I met because of him. I have my girlfriend now. He started that thing, that thought in my brain. Oh, maybe I should be more
Mm.
authentic. So him and also
Yeah,
Peterson, whatever. But it was at that moment when a year ago I was learning about fashion and that you can be fashionable and be yourself. I was like, oh shit.
that's what the his X Factor thing. And for the people who don't know what we're talking about, is that basically you can dress. You have two types of clothes. Let's say casual and elegant. And if I believe right, if I remember right, the X Factor was if you want to look casual but elegant at the same time, like you wear one elegant thing that is more on the casual side, like your shirt it's elegant because it's a shirt, but it's
Yeah.
also casual because I believe it's linen and you've rolled up your sleeves.
Yeah.
So you've got an elegant casual look. You can
Yeah.
wear shorts, which are super
I
casual,
do
but
wear
instead
shorts.
of yeah, you do wear shorts, and
Yeah.
these are shorts, so
Yeah.
they're
Casual.
casual, but at the same time they're more on the elegant side of shorts, not like
Right.
sports shorts. And
Yeah.
that was the X factor. And I never thought of it this way, of looking at
Yeah.
uh,
I'm trying to. I have it here. I
like
know.
category. How do you say category?
Category.
Whatever category. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm supposed to
In
be an
such a
English
way.
teacher or something.
Yeah, so this is exactly what I try to apply. Is like I wear it. I like to be comfortable, so I wear
Mm.
long sleeve t-shirts.
Yeah.
But I tend to keep them on the more elegant side because they're solid color, and
Right.
that's it without a
And they're
design or
smooth.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. That was one of uh, the best style advice I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
I didn't realize how complex style is until we had
Mm,
that call. And like even so you can have elegant clothes, but you can make them casual by adding texture. Texture makes things casual.
mm,
Smooth things are elegant, texture they're more casual.
yeah.
Um, Details casual. Like if you have a shirt with a lot of drawings or whatever, that's a lot of details, a lot of noise, casual.
Mm,
No
yeah.
details, all one tone, elegant. So yeah, it was insightful, and I'm glad it was him that taught it. I'm glad it wasn't some other guy. I'm glad it was the guy because he was also learning game. He was also one of us, and so he went through that process and just threw it out and became himself. He said he was panicking. He said he threw it out in 2018 during Christmas, and
Mm,
he thought, oh, well, what if I don't know the next thing to say on Tinder? What if I don't know the best three lines to say, whatever, on the first date? And he was panicking, but he said that he got way more results than he ever expected, just being
mm,
himself. And
yeah. By
like, you
throwing
don't
out
want to fake it. Yeah, throwing out all the advice. And I mean, you don't want to fake it anyway. You want to be you with your potential mate for potential partner for long term. So
it's
yeah.
funny because when you enter into the world of pickup artistry, if I can say so, you're like, oh, these guys are so good. And then you realize that people that have been in it for a few years and then they stop, they're like, fuck, the thing I needed from the beginning was being myself and not giving a fuck about those techniques. There is this guy also that joined once in our call with VK
Was
when
that
we
your
were
friend
there was
that came
Asim.
in? Yeah, that's him.
But there was also Jake.
I don't think I.
And Jake was the same thing. Jake was in the dating kind of thing for 10 years. And then he was
Right.
like, finally, he was like, actually, fuck it. And now he's super authentic to himself. And I've talked to him a long time ago. That would be cool to have him on a call. And he was much more happy talking to me. He was like, man, I've just left it and I feel so much better because now because he's a music producer and he's living the dream, like literally, he's living his dream.
Nice.
And he said like he's so happy right now, focusing on music and enjoying and having a great life. So once
Nice.
again, by stopping chasing girls, he found his kind of peace of mind in
Yeah.
this field.
And I would want to add on that with the authenticity. Like, there might be guys who are like, well, I've been myself for 21 years and I'm still a virgin. Like, how does that work? But I
Yeah.
think it's like being your best version of yourself instead of
Mm,
being a version of someone else, being yourself, but a better version
yeah.
of yourself.
Yeah.
And that on authenticity. Like the second question that Peterson asked, what type of partner, how can I be the best partner? Instead of
Yeah.
how can I find the best partner? For me, how can I be the best partner? So working on your strengths, obviously on your weaknesses, but people really focus on the strengths. Oh, this guy's a great communicator. This guy is super extrovert. This guy loves to listen. He's great at listening. You know. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm making a program. I'm thinking 6 weeks because, well, we did 6 weeks, but also I had this thought, well, I can teach this in a couple of days. But then I think Cohen was right on this, that if you do teach something complex in a few days, it's hard to absorb. It's hard to be like, oh, that makes sense, and I'll implement it right now. I think maybe it does take time. If you don't think
Yeah.
so, tell me. I don't want to
No,
do
no,
it
no. I've
wrong.
been thinking because with Frederick, we were doing coaching for 4 months, and it was one call a month, and then another Q&A call a month, like one coaching call and one
Yeah.
Q&A call.
How did that feel? Was it
It was
too little?
really, really good because I really enjoyed it because you really had time to process the information of that call. Because
Right.
quite often, 1 week is, I mean, I felt with Vicky like 1 week was not enough. In the beginning, I was like, why 4 months if it's one call? If it's
Yeah,
just
that's
one.
right now. You telling me that, I was like, is that like not too much? How did that feel?
Yeah, and it really felt great because I really had the time to implement what we were learning. We really had the time to process the information, to experiment, and then we
Right.
had the Q&A calls because it was like a
Was that
call 2 weeks.
afterwards?
Yeah, we had the coaching call. 2 weeks later, the Q&A call, and 2 weeks later, another coaching
Coaching
call.
call.
So the coaching
Ah,
calls
right.
were every month, and then the Q&A also every month, but spaced
Right.
out in such a way that
That's
it was
good.
every 2 weeks. It was really good
I
because
want to write
the
that down.
coaching was nicely spaced out,
Yeah.
and by implementing and trying stuff, we had questions which we had time to come up with because
Yeah.
we had 2 weeks or we had a full month to think of the questions. So I really enjoyed that structure.
Fuck, man. I liked. When you said 4 months and only one call a month, I was like, you have 30 days to like think it over. That sounds too much. But then since you said 2 weeks
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
one
yeah,
call coach, one call Q&A. 2 weeks sounds much better than a week because like
yeah, yeah,
when you're actually meeting girls, it's probably the weekend. During the week, you're busy or with your
yeah, yeah.
working or with your family. You would only see the girls in the weekend, and then you'll have to call on Sunday. So it's definitely not enough.
Yeah, because when you
I
have,
like
I
that.
remember when we had calls with VK, the question would come up from past experiences instead of recent ones. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. There
It
was
wasn't
never
like,
right
oh,
now.
by the way, I had this. It was like, oh, in the past, I used to experience this. How would you solve it? Kind of.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed Frederick's structure of the coaching.
One thing I wish Cohen would have gave us a bit more was what helped other students out a lot. Because like I had this problem of like I don't know what to
What?
ask. Like we were the ones supposed to ask him questions, and he would give us answers. And sometimes
Yeah.
I just wouldn't know what to ask, and I just felt like I needed some value, some good information. I was glad that other people were asking questions because I was kind of blank. But
Yeah.
I wished he would have gave us like good information and then like questions. Do we have any other questions that are relevant to us and whatever? So I felt like he obviously gave value answering our questions and whatever, but I wished he would have gave us good information in the beginning, whatever that he thinks is relevant in any other case. Had to learn how to listen. Learning how to listen. I mean, that's useful in any case.
Yeah.
Learning dream girl exercise. I mean, we did that. Oh shit! Did he do that? Actually, never mind. I think the
what?
dream girl exercise. He
Yeah,
planned
we
that
did.
out. We didn't ask him about that. Right. There was one thing we asked, but he never gave us. It was, I think, Harvard guy. What's his name?
Oh yeah.
British. Okay, we won't mention his name. He has a reputation to keep up. So he, I think he mentioned one of him or a military guy. He mentioned the 8 levels of consciousness.
Yeah.
How do
He
we move
talked
up?
about these in the end.
Did he? Oh, I must have missed the last calls. I think I was in the middle 6. I got the first 2 calls for free. I don't know how. You just gave me access. The last 2 calls I got from one of the military guys.
Okay. Yeah.
He just transcribed it to me. I'm not going to mention their name. But yeah, fuck, I missed it. So that's why I forgot it. Never mind. He did cover it. Okay.
Yeah, he did, but you didn't miss much because it was disappointing, if I can say. It wasn't very instructive. It was very like basically the call was you've got 8 levels of
Consciousness.
yeah, it wasn't really consciousness, to be honest. It was kind of it was going from the very level 1 where you basically a baby and you know nothing to going to level 2 where your life is basically just your life, level 3 where you care about yourself and your family, whatever, and you go up. And I believe it was inspired by the levels of consciousness of the book. Let me find that book because I believe it was or what was this? Oh yeah, if you write level of consciousness in Google Images, you've got literally the same thing he talked about. Where you've got survival, relationship. Oh, maybe I can screen share. That would be better.
Yeah.
Share screen.
I think I saved it once on my phone. But it didn't really make sense. Okay, 1 second. I'll add it. There we go.
Open the image in new tab. Let's open this. Okay, so basically there you've got these basic things. Like you've got survival, where your only thing is kind of surviving. So then you have relationship, where you focus on your relationship, family, friendship, etc.
Right.
Self-esteem. Okay, basically you can read those things, and the further you go up, the less you are self-centered, kind of.
Right.
And why does it say 8? Actually, there's only 7 here levels.
7. Okay.
But whatever. Like the further in these,
the further you go, it's selfless.
Yeah, with this theory, like the further you go higher in your consciousness, the less egocentric and the more selfless you are with the world. And yeah, that was basically it. And it was kind of weird because he was talking about it for a whole hour. And also the further he was going, the more it was like, oh, and not a lot of people are on this level, and you are probably on the level 4. And then he got to the level 8 and he was like, I'm on the level 8 because I'm awesome. And
I killed the boss. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, cool. So that was the call. And
Yeah, I see. Okay. I how much was Frederick's thing worth? How much did it cost? 4 months?
2K. I
Okay,
mean,
nice.
we were at the very first edition, so it's very probable
It's
that
probably
we would have
3K, I
it
think.
more.
Nah,
Yeah,
or
no, not
maybe
maybe,
four.
because
Yeah,
we were the experimental first group, so maybe
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why.
And obviously it was valuable for you to give the video the thing that, oh, this worked for me and whatever. And I mean, it did work for you because like when I had a call with Jose, he said that he made a girl come by just talking to her and not
Really
even touching her. Yeah, and
interesting.
I was like, "Oh, that's a superpower!" Like, yo, that absolutely worked. And Frederick got me having a beautiful experience on the plane. So I do trust Frederick. He like
Yeah.
that's a story I'll
The
keep for the rest of my life. So yeah, it's funny. It's funny, but it's like it
I've
worked.
learned a lot with him. Not gonna lie, it was valuable coaching. If I had to say, his coaching was much more valuable than VK's.
Mm.
I
Shout
feel
out to
like we,
Frederick.
yeah,
At
and
frederickbowden.com. I don't know. Does he have a website? Maybe his
yeah,
his Instagram clips are
yeah, he
amazing.
does. He does. He's
So good.
he's he's putting dating advice there.
Yeah,
Uh,
killing it.
yeah,
Good. All right.
it was pretty
Four
fun.
months. I like that. Yeah, this conversation been amazing.
A lot of
I don't know.
random talk too, but
Absolutely, yeah. Alex Hormozi, maybe I don't know. I like obviously that will get a lot of views, but this wasn't about Alex Hormozi. This was about us. I don't know. I don't know, saying some bullshit.
yeah,
But
I
yeah,
just imagine making a video like, "Is Alex Hormozi a scam?" And
real,
then
yeah, scam. Oh man,
10,000
and
views. Oh,
yeah,
what?
yeah,
And they're like, "He is." Oh, really?
yeah. Is that defamation? Can I get? I heard this thing that we had this class on defamation in college. If you say is something a fraud question mark, that question mark doesn't save you. It's still defamation that you're like defaming. You're questioning the validity of this person, so you could get sued. So yeah, probably not.
Okay.
His
I
legal
mean,
team is better than my legal team,
it's
which is none.
it's just our opinion, of course,
Yes, very
uh,
opinion.
based on what we found on the internet.
Absolutely, we're
But yeah,
non-biased. So lovely to have a call with you, man. Finally,
man,
and
that was a pleasure.
yeah, I'm very happy with that.
2 hours.
Yeah, I can end it
Enjoy.
right now. Cheers.